I sat there for a long, long time, just staring at Jack's lifeless body, hoping that I really was in a bad dream and would soon wake up. The moon had disappeared behind a cloud, and I began to feel the cold, but when Freya nudged me with her snout, I knew what was expected of me. Jack looked so full of peace lying there with the pigs all over him, snuffling and snorting and hissing. I'd promised to protect him, to stop him being taken away and locked up, and I'd failed. He'd known better than me how difficult it would have been to get the truth out into the open, and I knew that in giving up his own life, he was protecting me. I waited until there had been no pulse or breath for ages, until his skin was cold as ice cream, and then I removed his clothes. The pigs stood around us in a circle, giving me space but urging me on. In the far, far distance, I could hear police sirens. I moved away to let the pigs do their part. Freya nudged me away even further. I turned my back on them and spoke out loud, hoping the departing soul of Jack Plum would hear me, and also to block out the sound of cracking bone and ripping flesh. The hyacinth moon slipped out from behind the clouds, come to say farewell too. Goodbye, Jack Plum. I'll miss you, and I'll always be glad you made me your friend. Lying on the damp grass, staring up at the sky, the thought came into my head that there was something weird and wonderful about the whole thing. I can't explain it, but it was sort of like those words they say in church, eat of my body, drink of my blood, and you shall have everlasting life. And in that moment I realized that Jack was right about not dwelling on stuff like hate and revenge. How if you did, it would eat away at your own life, and I understood he knew so much more than I ever realized. Freya and her pigs surrounded me. In the light of the moon I could see their snouts were stained with blood, their bodies smeared with gore. There was nothing much but oily stains and some bone and gristle left of Jack, dark ruby stains on the floor of Farmer Cotton's byre. As I looked around, I saw lights flashing over the fields. A helicopter hovered in the distance, and voices called out my name. It was time to go. I gathered the pigs around me, ran toward Farmer Cotton's fields, and said my farewells to them. Then I stared up at the star-sparkled sky and whispered my final goodbye to Jack. I left that body much before Holly gave my pigs the signal for the chomping. I soared up at the byre roof, saw into her braveness, watched Freya at the tribe at their consumptions, fetching that body, what was mine, into them forever time. What is done for the best. Holly now is free to grow into rich fullness, and I know that I am now just soul, full of energy, soul, as Dad did make prediction. And best of it all, I hear his dead voice close at me, telling words of great loving and pleasure that I am to come beside him for all times future. I'm surprised, actually, that I didn't cry at the ending. I did cry at one point. There are parts I almost cried. Anyway, thank you for listening to me reading Pigtopia by Kitty Fitzgerald. I love the way that I love the use of grammar throughout the book, to sort of give you sort of this distinction between the way that the characters talk in their chapters. So, with his character, the words are written in a very specific way, so you have to pronounce them the way that he would, and it just kind of like gives you an idea of what his voice kind of would sound like, what his accent would kind of sound like, based on his way of pronouncing things. And so like there are words that are cut up that are not usually separated, but he cuts them up, and it's just very, very wise and intelligent, because it's like there are so many words throughout it that are misspelled, but it's like because but it's like you get that he has more understanding Like, he's got more emotional intelligence, and so his than he seems to, and it's like his way of like the characters um, misspellings are they kind of like give more depth to the words themselves, make you think of words differently. Like, instead of depression, it's he ends up cutting it up into two words, depression. And there are other words like that throughout the book where he's taken words and he's split them. And it makes the characters feel more realistic, and I don't remember what age I was when I first read that book, but it's a book that just has stayed with me for a really, really long time, many years now, and I really don't know how many times I've read Pigtopia. I've read it again and again. Um, it's such a painful book in so many places. It's so, because it's like, it's so very believable, so very highly detailed and realistic. Um, the details of it, but it's just the wisdom of it is so good. Um, I loved it. Let me know what your favorite things about it were.